And then when you say something, it's like, then just mind your business. Girl, I feel you. Those sleepless nights, you are tired, you're overwhelmed, you're stressed out because you can't seem to get your child on a schedule that is consistent for bedtime. I'm going to share with you 6 things to make your life so much easier when it comes to bedtime routines. Very first step that I would suggest is to set a regular bedtime for your child. Now, this is going to be different for every kid. You might have different age groups in your home, and so therefore the bedtimes are not going to all align, but I would suggest you kind of like sit down and talk to your partner. So my younger one doesn't really like to nap, and so she goes to bed on the earlier side. I would say our nighttime routine ends with her in the bed by 6:30, 6:45 the latest, and that 15-minute window up until 7 o'clock is when she will usually fall asleep. My older daughter, she is a 7:30 more to 8, but I make sure that she is in bed for bedtime stories and all of that at the same time as my younger one. And if she decides to lay in her bed for that 45-minute window or whatever, then she can do that. She also knows she has the option, because she has a nightlight, she has the option to read a book. Her and her sister do share a room right now, so it's kind of hard. One might wake the other one up and things like that. So know your kids, figure out how things work, the dynamics. If your kids share rooms, then just take all of that into account. So the other piece is that you want to make sure that you stick to this bedtime schedule and the time every single night. That means weekends, holiday breaks, vacations, all of that. Things can get wonky, life happens, but you want to make sure that you are staying on schedule for your child. It is only going to help you in the long run. It is a pain in the behind. I know when you go on trips and you go on vacations and your family's rolling their eyes at you because your kid has a very specific bedtime, but they're not the ones who have to deal with that child the next morning, nor are they the ones that have to deal with them in the middle of the night. So I hope that what I just said gives you a little bit of comfort. Thank you for the unsolicited advice, but no thanks. We're going to go with our regular routine. And I hate to be rude like that, but sometimes people just need to hear it, because people have all of these opinions until they're the ones actually dealing firsthand with the problem, you know? It's like weird. It's like they come off and you feel awkward. And then when you say something, it's like, and it's like, then just mind your business. Okay. So number 2 would just be to kind of like set the mood for them and making sure that they understand chronologically like what's about to happen right before bedtime, and not right before bedtime, but making sure that they understand that, you know, after dinner, we go straight to, you know, the bathroom and brush our teeth, take our clothes off, get in the bath. For us, we normally have dinner around like 5:30-ish. We've been eating a little earlier because the clock went, what is it, forward? It's forward, right? Fall back. Okay, so since the time went back, we have been eating dinner a little earlier just because we all kind of feel a little like lazy and sleepy, like closer to that time when it starts to get dark. So we try not to eat too late. We try not to eat too late anyway, but that's like a whole nother thing. So right after they eat, we probably give them about like 10 or 20 minutes to kind of just like run around and kind of do what they want to do, either play in their play kitchen. After that, we will announce like, hey, it's time to get ready for bed. So Ahmad and I will usually take turns like bathing and lotioning and putting PJs on. So as he's bathing one, I'm in the living room entertaining the other one. We're either coloring or we're reading a book or doing a puzzle. But most times it's like coloring because that's what they like to do. I find that that's very soothing for kids during that bedtime, like chaotic, weird space. It's like, okay, I ate dinner, I did most of what I was supposed to do for the day, but like I feel crazy, I want to run around. We let them run around, but we also kind of get them back down at a certain point where it's like, okay, you're not going from running around to straight to the tub, you know? So it's kind of like that 10-minute in between while one is showering, one is coloring, doing coloring sheets or practicing fine motor skills and cutting papers that are like all over the place. But during this time, I will try to incorporate some type of music or like sound. So they have a hatch machine that is automatically set up to start playing like some of the white noise at 6:30, and so that is our system. I don't have to think about it. It turns on and off when we have the program set up for it. But when we have one of the kids in the living room coloring, we will just play like jazz music on like YouTube or whatever with a nice like little ambiance going, or we will put Alexa on and have her play like rain sounds or white noise, something like that, something that's like in the background where they're like kind of can like zone out and like settle down a little bit. My youngest recently has been requesting audiobooks. Like she wants to hear The Grinch. I told her we can't have screens during quiet time, but she like wants to hear it. So lately she's been asking for that. So I've been giving her opportunities where she can actually just like listen to a book, or she can listen to jazz. And the other day she asked me, I want to listen to jazz music, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so sweet. So they love it. They love the routine, and you don't think about it until they like request certain things. And I just thought that was like the cutest thing ever. We'll switch off, and I will have the other one lotion them up, put their PJs on, and just kind of like snuggle with them and just like talk to them about their day. Or we'll like do this as we're like picking up their stuffies, collecting them so that they can sleep with their stuffies in the bed. So we're not like looking for them as we're saying goodnight, because that causes chaos. Or we will pick out a book. We have a very, I think, workable system, and it's very easy. It's very simple. There's not too many activities attached to the bedtime routine, because that gets exhausting for the parents. Find that on the days where they skip a bath day, they don't sleep as well. So they know that it's part of their routine, and when it's removed, they can tell the difference, and it kind of like throws them off. Certain habits that are also linked to other habits. One of those in our routine is taking a bath. So when we don't have the bath in the routine for whatever reason, maybe we got home late or whatever, they don't sleep well. They'll wake up in the middle of the night, or they'll wake up super early. It's just like so chaotic. In my experience, being consistent with it is only beneficial for you and the child. Kids like to know what's going to happen next, and creating these routines will allow for that, and therefore you won't have as many behaviors. So I already touched upon this just a little bit, but incorporate some key steps. Bath time, brush teeth, PJs, storybook. My girls are potty trained, so we do go to the bathroom right before we get into bed to make sure that they empty their bladders. We do make sure that they use the potty before they get into the bed. In the bed we go. That way I know if they are going to have a rough night, because if my oldest starts to say, Mom, I gotta go to the bathroom, and we just went to the bathroom like 5 minutes ago. So you don't have to go to the bathroom. You got FOMO right now. And they know exactly what to do and what to expect. Other thing that I have found to be very helpful in the whole bedtime process is allowing them to pick out their own PJs. If you want to purchase some more PJs for your children, I would suggest taking them with you and having them pick between 2 or 3 different PJs. My girls love to wear the nightgowns with the princesses. So I usually get those in short sleeve for the summertime and then long sleeve for the colder winter nights. And they seem to really enjoy those. They love picking out a different princess every night. I think it's just so cute. And it's easy in the middle of the night. If they have to go to the bathroom, they can just lift the dress up. My fourth tip is just to create a sleeping environment for your child. We don't have blackout curtains. I don't feel like kids benefit from blackout curtains. I know this for myself. When I'm in a space where there's blackout curtains, I will sleep past. It's almost like I oversleep, and when I wake up, I feel like out of sorts. And so I'm not really a fan of blackout curtains. I feel like when the sun is rising, that is what triggers your body for your circadian rhythm to kickstart. So I just don't. I tried the blackouts and they didn't really work. They didn't do much anyway. They still woke up and, whatever. But the curtains are light filtering. They're just not blackout. And they tend to do fine with that. Like it's not an issue at all. Oh, and then we have the hatch machine, which I mentioned before, that will play like white sounds or rain sounds or waves or nursery rhyme sounds, things like that. I haven't had to do much of this recently, but when they were younger, on the younger side, both of my girls went into a regular crib or transitioned out of a crib to a bed pretty early. I would say like just at 2 years old, because they both were potty trained My youngest was potty trained a little before she turned 2 at like 19, 20 months. And then my oldest was potty trained by 2 and we were out of the crib. They had the opportunities to get up and touch toys and play with things. And I would hear it on the monitor. I'm like, oh my gosh, she has, the tambourine or whatever. So you want to make sure that you remove any of those type of distractions. I suggest getting like a toy box. That way you can just throw everything in the toy box, and getting one on wheels. We have one on wheels that we can just roll right out of the room, and that works perfectly for us. We do leave the books in the room because you can't read in the dark anyway. So if you want to pretend to read a book, then that's fine. But there are no toys in the room. So the temperature that we set the room at is about 70 degrees. We don't set the heat any higher than that. We don't have the AC any lower or higher than that, because we find that 70 is like the sweet spot for them. And I know some kids like it warmer, but both my daughters don't like heat, and they tend to sweat at night. And they have like sheets that we bought them, or comforters, duvets that really work for them. So they're really warm. So we're not concerned really about whether or not they're cold. Kids just sleep better in like a cooler environment, cool, dark environment. That's just the best way to sleep. I feel like for anybody, if you sleep in a room that is a little on the chilly side and dark and just like no TV, no screens, I feel like that is golden for anyone trying to get a good night's rest. The 5th tip would just be to establish a goodbye ritual, something that is quick, to the point, not super drawn out. We don't want to be Velcro mom where we're like slowly peeling away from each other, and like your kid's looking at you and you're looking at them and you feel a little uncertain. You don't want to create that type of vibe. You want to create a vibe that is very zen, that is very calming. And I simply just give my girls a hug and a kiss, and I usually will tell them something like, I love you so much, you mean the world to me, or just something sweet that they can kind of replay in their head as they're going to sleep, or something that they can just like hold on to as they're trying to get themselves to sleep. So I will usually do that for them, and I will say, I love you so much, I'll see you in the morning. That way they know, and I'm sure they already know this, but they will, they understand I am going to come back, and that me leaving the room is temporary. I will see them in the morning and we will have fun all over again. And this usually is okay with them. They're usually okay with that. My 6th and my last final tip, number 6, is just to stay consistent. Stay in it. It's going to be rough in the beginning because you're trying to establish a routine. They are going to be resistant to it, especially if you have a kid who is a little older, like 3 and 4, because now they have words, they have a means to try to bargain with you. And so it is going to be a little rough, but I promise you, you will get through it. Some nights are going to suck. They're still going to get up in the middle of the night. They're still going to try to test limits. They're still going to try to push back and resist. Stay strong in those moments. And me and my partner and I always say to one another, if you feel like you're getting to a point where you're about to lose it, then just say tap. We just say tap, and we know like, okay, I need to tap this person out because they're frustrated. And your kids will not go to sleep if you are on 10 with them. They just won't. So I find the best way to get your kids on board, on track, and to be consistent, to be firm, but to stand on the bedtime routine, stand on that firmly, then you will be golden. It's rocky in the beginning, but you become solid in the very end, and you will thank me later. That's pretty much it. I hope that you guys found these tips to be helpful. Like, comment, subscribe, share these videos with other mamas. Let me know down in the comments below if you have started a routine for your kids and what it looks like. I'm interested to know like if you guys have any very specific activities that you do as you're trying to get your kids to wind down and how effective they are. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one.